Okay, comrades, the way we run elections at the National Congress in a Bolshevik party is very different than the Democratic, Republican, or any bourgeois parties. It's done the following way. The old Central Committee sets up a slate. That slate is then presented to the Congress. And the delegates at the Congress voted up or down. In the Soviet Union, it's exactly the way it was done. And they used the words niet for no and ja for yes. And that's how they had their Congresses. And all Congresses in a Bolshevik party are that way. Anything other than that is a departure from the way the Bolsheviks do it, and it's infection of petty bourgeois radicalism, in my opinion, and new leftism, which is petty bourgeois radicalism, and so that's how we run it. If the slate is accepted, and that happens 99.9% of the time, because the people trust the current leadership. It got them through a lot, and they continue to support the leadership. That's the way it is. Do the study of the whole Bolshevik Party. They vote yes. If the majority of the delegates vote no on the slate, then it goes back to the Central Committee to create a new slate, and that'll take time. So I hope I explained how it's done. Any questions? Now, the second thing, because we are new, this is a new party, 99% of the people are not vetted. That should be obvious. They come from the internet, they come from other places. Most of them, if you notice, were never members of a Bolshevik party. Some of them came in through the CP, which recently the CP, which is not Bolshevik anymore. That should be obvious. It's social democratic. And so therefore we have all these new people that came in, and they go into, we put them in a cell, we assign them to a cell, the national office assigns them to a cell, and then the national office is the one that's involved with vetting the leadership of the cell. So make sure we understand that the national office, through the general secretary, as it says in our Constitution, has the authority to appoint into leadership positions people in the commissions, the departments, the cells, etc. I want to clarify that. This is not a Mickey Mouse Club where you come together, 4 or 5 people in the neighborhood, and you decide on who's the most popular one and you choose them as the head of the group. That's not the way we operate. They have to be vetted people who have experience in a Bolshevik party. Not in the left, in a Bolshevik party, because that's the big difference. We are not radicals. We are Bolsheviks. There's a big difference of what a radical is. A radical comes from a petty bourgeois background. 99% of the times, that's where they come from. They have no connection with the organized working class. You all know what I mean by organized working class, the trade unions. They don't have any of that. We cannot have those people lead ourselves. It has to be people that are trusted by the leadership of the party. People need to understand what they're joining. They should not join us and then try to change who we are. I've noticed that. A lot of young people join us and they try to change who we are. No, it's clear that we have 8 points of unity. If you don't agree with them, then you don't join us. That's all. No hard feelings. There's plenty of petty bourgeois radical groups to get involved with. And their history shows they go nowhere. None of them went anywhere. Remember what happened to all those that were formed in the 60s. Not one of them is alive today. Not one. They're all gone. because they had no basis in Marxist Leninist ideology, in history, in tradition of our movement. And we have to make sure that we know who we are. We're not Maoists, we're not Trotskyites, we're not social democrats, we're not ultra leftists, we're not petty bourgeois radicals. You're in the wrong group if that's where you're coming from. And we're not anarchists, definitely. We're very structured. And some people don't like the structure. Most Americans don't like it, you know that. By not liking structure, they have this word they call bureaucratic, which is a really bad word. It's a negative word. Bureaucratic. We call it structure. They call it bureaucratic.